July 14, 1944, northern Luzon, Philippines, late afternoon. The jungle is quiet in the way only the tropics can be, thick, humid, and unnaturally still. Cicadas buzz in waves, rising and falling like distant engines. The air smells of rotting leaves, sweat, and cordite that never quite leaves this place anymore. Private First Class Daniel Harper, U.S. Army, stands barefoot in the dirt. His boots were taken hours ago, his helmet even earlier. His hands are bound behind his back with coarse rope that bites into his wrists every time he shifts his weight. His uniform, once olive drab, is dark with sweat and streaked with mud. There is dried blood on the sleeve, not all of it his. In front of him, a shallow clearing opens between trees scarred by shrapnel and machetes. The ground is trampled flat. Someone has already chosen the spot. The Japanese soldiers form a loose semicircle, 15 of them, maybe more behind the trees. Rifles hang at the ready, bayonets fixed, steel catching the weak sunlight filtering through the canopy. An officer stands slightly apart, sword at his side, gloves immaculate despite the conditions. His posture is calm, practiced. This is not chaos. This is procedure. Harper's mouth is dry, he tastes iron. His heart pounds so hard it feels like it's shaking his ribs loose, but his face stays still. He learned that early, on Bataan, before the march, before the camps. Fear shows weakness. Weakness invites cruelty. The officer speaks. Harper doesn't understand the words, but he understands the tone, final, administrative, as if reading from a checklist. A Japanese sergeant steps behind him and jerks the rope tighter, forcing Harper to his knees. The dirt is warm. Ants crawl across his skin, already finding him. Someone laughs softly. Harper's thoughts narrow, not to prayer, not to home, but to fragments, the weight of his rifle, the sound of his squad joking on patrol, the way Sergeant Collins used to tap his helmet before moving out. This is it, his mind tells him. The officer raises his hand. Two soldiers step forward, rifles leveled. Not a firing squad, too formal. This will be close, efficient, quiet. The jungle holds its breath. And then something goes wrong. Not visibly, not yet. The officer hesitates. Just for a moment. His eyes flick to Harper's hands, to the rope, to the way Harper's shoulders are tensed, not slumped in surrender, but coiled, waiting. That hesitation lasts less than a second. But it is enough. Harper moves. He doesn't think, he doesn't plan. His body reacts before his mind can catch up. He throws his weight backward and to the side, slamming his shoulder into the legs of the soldier behind him. The rope snaps against bone. Pain flares white-hot, but the knot loosens. Harper rolls. A rifle cracks, not aimed, not clean, sending dirt spraying inches from his head. He comes up hard, colliding with a second soldier who wasn't ready, who still thought this was over. Harper's hands are free. The clearing explodes into noise. Shouts, orders, confusion rippling outward like shockwaves. This was not how it was supposed to happen. The Americans do not resist at the end. They do not break procedure. Harper grabs the nearest weapon, not a rifle, but a dropped bayonet. He rips it free and turns, slashing blindly, desperately, at the first shape that moves toward him. A soldier stumbles back screaming. Someone fires again, too close, too panicked. The officer shouts commands, sharp and furious, but the men are no longer a formation. They're individuals now, startled, reacting, afraid. Harper charges. Not forward, through them. He barrels into the edge of the semicircle, knocking one man down, wrenching a rifle from another's hands. The weight of it is familiar in a way nothing else has been for weeks. He chambers a round by instinct. The sound is deafening in the tight space. A soldier drops. Another freezes, unable to reconcile what he's seeing. This was meant to be controlled. Measured. Final. Instead, it's turning into something else entirely. Harper moves without stopping. He doesn't stay in one place long enough to be surrounded again. He fires, shoves, strikes with the butt of the rifle when there's no time to reload. The jungle that had been silent moments ago now roars with noise and motion. Japanese soldiers scramble for cover that doesn't exist. Shots ring out wildly. One man swings his sword and misses as Harper ducks past him, the blade slicing empty air. The officer backs away, disbelief flashing across his face. This was not supposed to happen. What was meant to be an execution has become a fight at arm's length, and in that sudden chaos, training collides with surprise. And surprise is killing faster than fear ever could. Harper feels nothing now, not pain, not exhaustion, only momentum. If he stops, he dies. If he slows, they recover. So he doesn't stop. He keeps moving. And the men who thought the execution was already over are only just realizing how wrong they were. The clearing has lost all order. Smoke hangs low now, drifting between tree trunks like fog. The sharp crack of rifle fire echoes unevenly, overlapping, indistinct. Someone is shouting orders in Japanese, but the words are colliding with panic, swallowed by the jungle. Private First Class Daniel Harper moves as if pulled forward by something behind his eyes. His boots are gone, his feet cut and slick with mud, but he barely feels it. The rifle in his hands bucks hard with each shot. He fires once, twice, then drops to a knee as return fire snaps past where his head had been a heartbeat earlier. A bullet punches into a tree trunk inches from his shoulder. Too close. He rolls again, coming up behind a fallen log. The wood is damp and half-rotted, offering little protection, but it's something. He jams another round into the chamber, breath coming in sharp, animal bursts. His hands are shaking now. The adrenaline is burning through him faster than he can control. Across the clearing, the Japanese officer is still standing, sword drawn now. His voice is louder, sharper, trying to reassert command, to turn chaos back into discipline. It isn't working. Two soldiers rush Harper's position from opposite sides, trying to box him in. Harper fires at the first, misses, then swings the rifle hard into the second man's face as he lunges forward. The impact jolts up Harper's arms. The man collapses, stunned, weapon skittering across the dirt. Harper doesn't wait to see if he gets back up. He bolts. He sprints diagonally through the clearing, zigzagging the way Sergeant Collins drilled into them back in Georgia. Bullets tear through leaves overhead. One clips his sleeve. Another thuds into the ground, so close he feels the impact through his bones. He crashes into a third soldier mid-reload. They go down together. The rifle is wrenched from Harper's hands, but he doesn't let go. They grapple in the dirt, limbs tangled. Both slipping, the Japanese soldier is shouting now, calling for help, trying to bring his bayonet around. Harper headbutts him. Once, twice. The shouting stops. Harper scrambles up, chest heaving, ears ringing so loudly the world feels distant, underwater. He snatches the rifle back, spins, and freezes. For half a second, everything seems to slow. Three soldiers are standing less than 10 yards away. All of them have weapons. All of them are staring at him. They hesitate. They were supposed to be spectators. Execution witnesses. Not participants in a sudden, close-range fight with a man who refuses to die. That hesitation costs them. Harper fires. The recoil nearly knocks him off balance, but the shot lands. He fires again, stepping forward as if momentum itself is a weapon. The third man turns to run and drops his rifle as he does. The officer's sword flashes. Harper dives just as the blade slices through the air where his head had been. The officer moves with terrifying precision, years of training evident in every step. This is not a panicked soldier. This is someone who knows exactly how killing is supposed to be done. They circle each other. The jungle seems to close in, the noise of the fight narrowing to the scrape of boots, the rasp of breath. Harper's rifle is empty now. He feels the click in his bones. No time to reload. The officer lunges. Harper throws himself sideways, grabbing at anything. His hand closes around the dropped bayonet. He brings it up just in time to deflect the sword, metal ringing against metal. The shock jolts through his arm, nearly tearing the blade from his grip. They separate again. The officer's expression has changed. No anger now, no contempt. Only calculation. Around them, the clearing is littered with discarded weapons, motionless forms, and men who no longer know whether to advance or retreat. This was meant to take seconds. It has already lasted minutes. Too long. Harper feints left, then charges forward, screaming, not in rage, but in sheer defiance. The sound is raw, animal, echoing through the trees. The officer steps back instead of forward. That single step, small, almost imperceptible, is everything. Harper slams into him, knocking the sword from his hand. They hit the ground hard. The officer struggles, strong, trained, but Harper has something else now, desperation sharpened into clarity. The fight ends quickly. When Harper staggers to his feet again, he doesn't look back. He can't afford to. He grabs another rifle from the dirt, checks the chamber, and fires at the last cluster of soldiers trying to regroup near the tree line. One drops, the others break. They run. Into the jungle, into the unknown, away from the clearing that was supposed to hold an execution and instead became a nightmare. Silence returns slowly, broken only by Harper's ragged breathing and the distant buzz of insects reclaiming the soundscape. He stands alone now. Barefoot, bleeding, shaking. 7 minutes. That's all it took to turn certainty into collapse. Harper doesn't celebrate, he doesn't shout, he doesn't even feel relief. He just moves because stopping still feels too dangerous. And somewhere beyond the trees, the war is still waiting for him. Daniel Harper stumbles into the jungle with no direction, only distance in mind. Branches tear at his skin as he pushes through the undergrowth. Every snapping twig sounds like pursuit. Every rustle feels like a rifle being raised. He forces himself to keep moving, counting his steps under his breath, the way Sergeant Collins taught him when panic threatened to take over. 1, 2, 3. His lungs burn, his vision narrows. He doesn't know how long he walks. Minutes or hours lose meaning, but eventually the adrenaline drains enough for pain to arrive. His feet are raw and bleeding. His hands are slick with blood that isn't all his. His arms tremble so violently he has to stop, bracing himself against a tree just to stay upright. When he finally sinks to the ground, it isn't exhaustion that hits first. It's silence. No shouted orders, no rifle fire, no footsteps behind him. Only insects, wind through leaves, a distant bird call that sounds impossibly normal. Harper presses his forehead into the dirt and breathes until the shaking slows. At dawn, he starts moving again. The jungle lightens slowly, shafts of pale morning sun cutting through the canopy. With daylight comes danger, visibility works both ways, but Harper knows staying still is worse. He follows the slope of the land downhill, hopping water will lead him somewhere familiar. By mid-morning, he hears it. Voices. English. He doesn't call out right away. He crouches behind a fallen tree, watching. 3 American soldiers move cautiously along a narrow trail, mud-splattered, weapons raised, eyes scanning the jungle like hunted men. Harper steps out slowly, hands raised. They almost shoot him anyway. It takes seconds for recognition to register. His torn uniform, the dog tags, the wild-eyed expression of someone who has crossed a line and not come back the same. They rush him, pulling him down, checking him for wounds. One of them swears softly when he sees Harper's feet. "Jesus Christ," the man mutters, "what happened to you?" Harper tries to answer. Nothing comes out. Later, much later, he tells the story in fragments. In a command tent that smells of damp canvas and coffee, under the flat stare of officers who have heard a lot of war stories and still don't quite believe this one. An execution detail, 50+ men, a last-second break, 7 minutes of close combat. The room stays quiet when he finishes. An intelligence officer finally clears his throat and asks him to repeat the number. 7, Harper says, maybe less. Reports from patrols fill in the rest over the following days. A Japanese unit found scattered, weapons abandoned, multiple dead, no sign of organized resistance in that sector afterward. The incident never becomes a headline. There are no photographs, no film reels, no triumphant press release. Just a typed after-action report filed under Jungle Operations, marked unusual engagement. Harper is reassigned within a week. The war moves on. But the men who hear the story, really hear it, don't forget. Because it isn't just about how many died. It's about how certainty collapsed. The Japanese soldiers believed the moment was over, the ritual complete, the outcome decided. They were wrong. In war, survival sometimes belongs to the man who refuses to accept the ending he's been given. Years later, long after the Pacific has fallen silent, Harper will struggle to explain it to anyone back home. He won't talk about heroism. He won't use words like bravery. He will say only this: there was a second where they thought it was finished, and I realized it was. That second changed everything. For 7 minutes, the balance of fear shifted. And when it was over, nothing in that clearing was the same.